From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson. Everyone around here knows how good Baker Mayfield has been for the Sooners, and they'd sure like to have him for another year. They'll have him for his senior season next year, but obviously the chance to get that year back after he transferred from Texas Tech is on the top of some minds as we head into the postseason. Ryan Aber joins us on the phone. And Ryan, it sounds at this point like all of the avenues as it relates to the Big 12 have been exhausted. What's sort of the potential here for Baker Mayfield to potentially get that year back that he lost after he transferred to OU from Tech?
Well, really right now their only chance, and by there I mean Baker Mayfield and his family, their only chance to try to get that year back is to basically shame the NCAA into changing its stance, which had been to sort of defer to the Big 12 rule and not allow Baker Mayfield a hardship, which as we've seen, they've changed that rule a little bit where you have to sit out a year regardless of circumstances unless you've already graduated, but generally you get that year back on the back end. But it doesn't seem like there's much chance of that happening right now unless it's just a public shaming for the NCAA that makes them buckle.
Now, Ryan, rewind us a little bit on the Big 12 here. This decision to potentially give Mayfield that year back could have been made by leaders of these schools, but I guess my assumption is if Baker Mayfield's, just walloped your team, are you going to say, yeah, let's sign me up for an extra year of that? Is that sort of what it comes down to when it comes to the Big 12 at this point?
Well, a little bit, although this vote happened before it was even clear how good Baker Mayfield was going to be at OU. Mm-hmm. But certainly you can see where the other schools wouldn't exactly be fired up to allow that to happen. I think it's sort of been a deference to Texas Tech on the matter. Texas Tech initially did not release Baker Mayfield, finally relented on him getting a scholarship last year, which allowed him to be placed on scholarship for the first time as a collegiate, but didn't allow him to play last year. And because of the Big 12 rule, if you don't play, you lose a year of eligibility if you transfer within the conference. And that's where the Mayfields hope that his story getting out, sort of shining some light on this, can shame the NCAA into allowing another year for eligibility for a guy who walked on at Texas Tech and never had a scholarship there.
And lastly, Ryan, little chance of a lawsuit here. Is that what you're gathering from the Mayfields?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they're going to explore, at least as far as I don't want to say threatening the lawsuit, but clearly they know that if they do file a lawsuit, it's not going to help Baker Mayfield at all, because it's going to be stretched beyond the time when he could be helped with another year of eligibility. Maybe if they would have immediately gone that route a couple years ago, which would have seemed silly in a lot of ways, that maybe that could have been the case. But right now it's just about public shaming. And yesterday they got a pretty good ally on their side with Jay Billis tweeting quite a bit about it. He's been very critical of the NCAA, and he jumped on Baker Mayfield's side yesterday on Twitter in a big way.
Well, there you go. Maybe that shaming of the NCAA starts with a couple high-placed sources in the Twitter sphere. We'll see how it goes. You can check out more about the situation in the Wednesday Oklahoman and on newsok.com. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.